Hi, and welcome to the PR Style Guide podcast. This is our first of, we hope, many podcasts. We are going to be talking to some of the best to do it in the PR, communications, and marketing business. And our first guest, our very first guest, is Candice Adkins-Wilson. She is a news producer with WHUR. She has worked with many celebrities over the years, including Taraji P. Henson, Kenya Moore, and many, many others. And I think that you all are going to learn a lot from her. I've heard great things about her already from my co-host, Danielle Williams. And I'm going to kick it over to Danielle to tell you a little more about Candice and how this podcast came to fruition.
Yes, thank you so much, Robin. Again, we are so excited to be here with all of you. It's our first episode. I'm Danielle Williams, co-host, and I am overly joyed to have Candice. This came from a conversation that Candice and I had at a restaurant when we went for brunch, and it's about a year later, actually maybe right about a year, no, a little over a year. And I'm just so excited. Good things take time, and to now have it to come to fruition from an idea. Then I talked to Robin about it, and now we're here. So, Candice, you've been like a big sister, a mentor, just such a blessing in my life. And I just really just want to take the time to thank you just for who you've been to me and for how you just lifted me up and continue to just be a big sister and a friend in the space of PR and life and just everything. So I'm so excited to have you here and just thank you.
You're quite welcome. Honored to be here, ladies. This is amazing. As I said before, congratulations. I like the thing in the Bible which says better the end of the thing than the beginning thereof. So I look forward to just an amazing, strong finish for your first season.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. And by the way, when I was reading your bio, Candice, there were some things that I didn't even know about you. I did not know you were at Sister2Sister Magazine.
Yeah, that was my start.
Like, you just never know. I didn't know who I really knew. Like, you're I was like, oh my goodness, wait a minute.
That's exactly what she said to me. She said, I learned stuff I didn't know.
That's why it's called bio. By the way, I do this. Google me. But in a humbling way, I would say I've been blessed to do so many different things, but I'm not a kind of person to toot my own horn. I just show you better than I can tell you kind of person. So just happy to be humble and happy to be able to experience most of those media collaborations over the years here in this market.
Absolutely. So our first question is, we're going to kick it off love and hip hop kind of style. But when did you first fall in love?
Brown sugar.
Yes. With Brown Sugar, it's about hip hop and love. So she was, but in this day and age, loving hip hop, like, oh, ratchet, hey.
I definitely did say love and hip hop. Thank you, Robin.
Yeah,
I know what you mean. We be here for it.
Okay.
Right, Brown Sugar, a classic, right.
So see, what happened was I was actually on YouTube and I was looking up Jamie Foster. I was looking up Sister2Sister Publisher, and she did an interview with Yandy from Love and Hip Hop. So
that makes sense. Well, when I fell in love with it, I felt in love with it with most of the publications, which I started with Sister2Sister. And I have to say it was Amy Dubois. She was the editor of Ebony magazine, and I just read most of her editor's notes and editor letters to the readers before we started into the magazine issue. And I was like, wow, there's so much to cover. And the whole edition at that year and time, I was like loving it. And I come from a space and place in the city of St. Louis and the city of East St. Louis that, resources are low when it comes to reading and writing and for public schools, but we were able to just persevere through all of that in city public schools. So reading was not always my favorite, but when I got into something that was talking about me that I connected with, I love to read. So here we are. I love to get information for Black women. Then I got into the engagement of Black radio in the city of St. Louis. Like, wow, I like the way that sounds. I like to be able to be that chick to be on the mic. And because I have personality, I like to be in front of the camera. So I want to be that chick, as they say, to be the pretty girl to give information. So, my love for it was just to be able to be the center in the room to make sure you have everything you need to know. And it came from me in a good
Wow,
way.
absolutely. Okay, so St. Louis, then
Yes.
you come here to Howard. Like,
Yes.
how was that coming from? I mean, those are two cities.
Yeah.
Coming and just getting integrated here. Like, how was that?
Yeah.
Give us more about your background, your journey.
Well, I was an insurance broker in St. Louis, and I kept getting laid off, or we just kept bumping heads with different agents I was working with. And I said, something's missing, something's missing, something's not right. And I had also have a love for the arts. So I start to look for institutions about Black arts, and I wanted to go back to school and get my education and just be a Black educated woman and go all the way full stream. And at first it was radio, television, film. So I considered Mizzou, University of Missouri in Columbia, Missouri. And then when I so happened to be more exposed to other institutions, Spelman, FAMU, and there was Howard, and Howard just caught my eye in terms of their missions and their mission and their programs, and we just connected. So when I went into my passion first into the arts, and I was in theater education, and here I was, 25 years old, come up here by myself. Me and my dad dropped me off, and I stayed in the dorms with most of my peers, a little bit younger than me. I looked every bit of their age, but very mature, very, kind of had my way out of life. But I was more focused, and I just was like, I can't mess up. I can't do this. I took away like all the cool things I used to do, run the streets and have all the cool outfits, all the cool hairstyles, and just say, no, I'm gonna just go cold turkey and just give everything I got in school. And I gave all my money and all the thing I sacrificed to just to do what I need to do to be that educated woman and no longer have to be in front of someone's face and say you're fired. And once I got my degree in theater education, then it transitioned to entertainment media. And one thing about that I would say about that journey, like, yo, you're not even doing the arts. I did have my time in the arts. I did stage management, I performed, I did costumes, I did set, I did everything. But that it got me into broadcast and journalism. If I didn't do the arts, I would not be prepared for broadcast journalism, because the arts teach you how to be multitask on all things. So you'll be ready to be in front and be able to get the story, be able to be determined, be able to finish what you start in this whole journalism business. Yeah. So it was that was the beginning.
So tell us about getting that first job.
Mhm.
What made you transition from the arts to journalism? And well, was that challenging going after something that some people would consider as untouchable? So many people want to work in journalism, want to work for a magazine and work in news. How did you go about that?
Well, the interesting thing about that, because I was in the arts, and so I wasn't in a newsroom or in a control room, but I was in publications of Sister2Sister Magazine, so I got an idea how to build a story, and I got an idea how to touch the audience. So you have that connection with our people, and then you have production expertise in performing arts. So you put those two together, and I was able to sell myself to Howard University Radio Network and says, hey, I've never been in the newsroom, and I've never been in a broadcast studio, but if I train, I bet you I can give you everything I got. And I was able to work with them, and they trust me. They side eye me like, you never did radio, so how would you have a clue how to produce a show? So I just, sat with some of the news director, sat with the news director, sat with the producer, sat with the talent, and just watched and learned in a historic radio station in this market, in this city. And I didn't stop until I got it right. and I knew what was needed. I knew what the audience wanted. I got to know DC. You know, you just can't say, oh, I just want to work at a radio station, but you don't know the city. You don't know DC, Maryland, and Virginia in this case. You know, so what helped me when I was in college, I was shampooing hair and sweeping the floor at a salon and met all the DC girls. And the DC girls told me about the DC streets. And then I was able, you know, every Howard student would be able to date a local. So I was able to date a local. So a local told me what the DC was like and the DMV was like. So when I was able to do that, I read the paper quite often. I looked at the news, and I was able to be in the local newsroom to get an understanding what the WHUR listener really, really want to know. And it was not easy. It was not, because you know, you was in a space and place. They didn't know who you are. They began to be judgmental because I was an artsy fartsy person. But when you're in journalism, you got to kind of be a little bit more focused and be a little bit more on a serious note, because you're about to break news of, you know, a shooting on Georgia Avenue, or a breaking news of trying to get the mayor of the city, or trying to get in contact with Congress. I have to come pretty much a little bit more correct as a professional, saying, you know, I represent a professional network, and this is what we're doing. I'm not interviewing anybody on red carpet. I'm not interviewing anyone in entertainment media. So you got to, of course, take both seriously. But when it comes to hard news, it's a different kind of animal. So I survived. I survived so much that I survived. They trust me to be the lead producer at Democratic and Republican national conventions years later.
Wow. That's amazing. So to go from, you pitched yourself to a place where you had never even been, that is very impressive. So I feel like we talked a little bit about this, but just, were you working I guess like interning, volunteering, like what were those things incorporated into this process as well? Just along your journey?
Well, I developed relationships with who was working in the network. And when I developed great relationships, they introduced me to other people. So for me, you know, grown as a woman, you intern. So of course, in some ways, it was more like interning in some way, but it was an intern another way, because I was bringing things to the table. I remember the first story I brought to them, and they was like, "Okay, yeah, we gotta get her on our team." It was Kwame Kilpatrick, of the former mayor. Is it Kwame Kilpatrick? Kwame Kilpatrick, Kwame Kilpatrick, the former mayor of Detroit. And he served time. He served time for many years, you know, from some political drama they had in the city of Detroit. And when he got out of jail, I was able to get with a publicist, and I was able to bring him to get one of the first stories in this city to come to the studio. So that was a good look for me. So that hustle, commitment, consistency, constantly communicating with them, selling myself, who I was. When you know, when you're trying to make a good impression, you can no longer be Candice. So I always would come with some jeans and a cute little button-up shirt. I always articulate. I had a slang, so I was a little more of my St. Louis way of talking. So I was a little country girl. So I had to kind of watch how I say my words and watch how I present myself in terms of wanting to pitch different things to the newsroom, because I was new. So yeah, that was the start of it all. Interning in, because I was teaching early childhood education, and I was making I was making like $26,000 a year. I was eating water sandwiches. Y'all know what
the noodles.
Water sandwiches.
Yeah, water's just water, bread and water. So you talk about somebody was skinny. But when I got to HUR, you know, you got connected to so many different people and made a little more money, and I got to be at the party, so I can eat a little bit more. So I ain't want no more water sandwiches. It was more hamburger. It was bacon sandwich with the bread. Yes.
Has some extra condiments on there.
Right. Thank you, Lord.
Well, speaking of fashion, you mentioned your attire.
Yeah.
How would you describe your communication style if you had to pick one fashion word? With this being the PR style guide, and both of us are fashionistas, we love to think about how our PR style or our communication style comes through in what we wear and how we present ourselves. That's so much a part of the job. And it just reminded us of that, as you mentioned, what you were rocking. You can give us more than one, that's fine.
What's a good word I use? That when because I speak to more publicists than I speak to my husband. So you know, I would say intriguing.
I like it.
Intriguing, you want intriguing as a style because you're catching my attention, and you caught my eye, and I am curious to see how you're going to even fascinate me even more. So I'm intrigued by your pitch, and I'm intrigued with your talent that I'm gonna pitch your talent to come on my show. So I'm gonna make you feel intrigued because I'm sure everyone has pitched to you to get to Jada Pickett, for example, or Al Sharpton or Ben Crump. Everyone's pitched you, but with me, my presentation is a little bit more stylish. And what we do like, and this is for PRs, is a greeting. It's a greeting. I hope you've been doing well. I hope your week was peaceful. I just want to just simply say, introduce myself, and I want to know if there's any time and space and place, a few minutes to speak with your talent. Less is better from PR to a reporter. We don't want a whole lot of you to say, but just a good, hey, what I like what they say, hey there. Great story right here. This great story is about a man that gave away $5,000 for a student to go to college. And I think this would be a great story. So, why did he get $5,000? Was his last $5,000? And why the student needed the car? And well, I didn't have a car when I went to college at first. But my car broke down. So just saying that all to say is just the writing, the style, and when it comes to fashion, you want it to be able to. You want them to be able to stay engaged. Is another word. You see, I have these earrings on, so your viewers will not only just remember the things I say, but they can't stop looking at the earrings. What does those earrings say? The earring says beautiful. Color boldness. They don't remember my name, but the lady that had the funky brown bob with the cute blue multicolored shirt. So all those different things will keep the person's memory going based on what you said, how you act, and how you articulate. So you have all these different nuggets that give you a gold star to always be unforgettable.
I love that. And thank you for those little nuggets
Mm,
on, keep it short, love a greeting. I feel
mm.
like sometimes as PR people, you know, you wonder just what is going to catch attention, or, is the subject line. I know you said less is more. So I loved how you answered the questions and threw in some of those little gems and nuggets along the way.
Intriguing and engaging. I love both of those.
Yeah,
Yep.
me too. You can use them in different ways.
Yep.
So, Candice, what would you say is the hardest and most rewarding thing about working in journalism or as a news producer?
Oh my gosh. In the world of journalism, we don't get a chance to cover news about our people and our culture. So to be able to let our people know what's really going on and how we can be able to help them in many ways. If I need you to help, if I need you to get more information about what's happening with your credit score, if I need you to get more information about how to take better care of your skin. If there's a story from researchers and journalists coming together, talking about the wrong meat that you're eating with your diet. I want you to be able to know that, because it just can't be that one audience of 55% of people that's that's food junkies reading this. So how about all of us be able to take a moment to read? Oh, okay, let me hold back on red meat, or let me hold back on us being a big money spender. Let's all of us be able to have a Black perspective to bring to my people of this is what you need to know. And they be like, yo, that was a good story. I was listening. You were listening? Yeah, I was listening. I think that was a great story you talked about. Can you give more shows about money spending? Can you get more shows about entrepreneurship? Can you get more shows about relationships? Because that's something I really want to know, because you just can't you can't book people on your programs and write stories about with these articles speaking about relationship advice, and you never been married. You're giving me relationship advice and you haven't kept a mate. And not no shade to your expertise, but real talk, people want to listen to people that's been married and they have experience of sharing that information for people that want to find love or trying to fix their marriage or trying to fix their relationship. Just because you've been married for 5 minutes, 5 months, you also all of a sudden a relationship guru because you found love. That's for so many people, so many listeners and viewers, that doesn't mean nothing to them. Okay, you just got married. What you can help me? Because I'm still single. Well, I can help you because I was single for a long time and I got a man. Yeah, I get that, but there's something missing. Our people are always hungry, and they always hunger for more knowledge. They have a thirst for knowledge. So it's a rewarding thing to be able to, quench their thirst every so often. If it's not what you're looking for, but at least if you walked away, but like, maybe I go get that book that they were just talking about.
Do you have a professional mentor?
I have a couple. Of professional mentors, and one thing about in the world of journalism, media journalism, you have a mentor for for your career advice, negotiation. You have a mentor for entrepreneurship. You have a mentor for leadership. You have a mentor for your mental health. So you're able to do that because that one mentor can't able to give you all of those different nuggets that you're searching for. So yeah, I have a couple, and they have been tremendous, and they've been a blessing in my life, and I'm able to listen and pay attention and sit at their feet and be able to not be a pest. Mentors love a mentee, but they don't like the mentee to waste their time. And so when they see that you're hungry and they see that you're ready, they will feed you. They will feed you. They give you all you got. And because of that, let me bless you. I appreciate you, allow me to get on your nerves and allow me to keep asking you questions because I want to get it right and I want to give it my best. So yeah, I encourage everybody, for especially for young women, you have an older woman in your life. Always good to have a good older woman in your life that not only that would not tell you what to do, but give you words of wisdom.
And I love that you have multiple mentors. I think that's so key. People are not just busy, but they're overwhelmed with the things that are their own personal stuff. So being able to pour into others while not being too spent is vital. So having different mentors, so you're not always grabbing and pulling at one, is such a good idea.
Yeah, yeah. And I think as women, ladies, we have to be honest with what we need and not be afraid to speak up. I really don't know what I'm doing. I really don't know what to do. I really can't put it together. Let me just look at somebody and ask, okay, I want her to be my mentor, but she don't know me. Send her an email. Send him an email. Send them an email and says, can I have about 10 minutes to speak with you? This is what I'm working on. I just want to get your advice how I can move this along. And it becomes a successful 10-minute conversation. Send them a thank you card after you completed the project or whatever you're trying to do. Let them know how it went. And that's how we develop relationships. Why do I have to send them a thank you card? People don't have to do that. Time is precious. time is precious, and people have lives. And not just what that you see on camera and Facebook and social media that they got it going on, but their personal life. It's a ton of things outside the phone, outside the laptop that they're dealing with. And if you want to get their attention, get their time, you have to be able to be respectful. So yeah.
That's a really good point. I love that. So, are there any journalism or PR myths that you would like to publicly debunk? Any things that you can think of that you want to speak to?
PR myths.
Yeah, or something in journalism where it's like, that's not, let me set the record straight right here about this.
We're not the devil. We're not. We don't get it wrong. We some of us, my colleagues, may not have the full story, but there's a few of us. We would like to be able to share the information. You can't be mad at the messenger. These are the facts, and the facts is right. The facts is right. You can't be upset because we putting your favorite person on blast. It's true. We did our homework. We did our research. And I think it was how I can't think of a story that was like, yeah, that's the journalism or saying this. Good example. Morgan State University, they're saying that this is a good example, and my colleagues haven't reported this. They're building a wall around campus due to the mass shooting that took place in the city of Baltimore, Maryland. They was able to cancel their homecoming, right? And so, speaking to my husband, he's an alumni. Hey, they're building a wall around your campus. Oh my goodness, this is rough. He was like, no, they're expanding. They are going to expand the gates in the front. Who knew? I don't live in Baltimore. My market's in DC. I didn't know that. It's the media. You all get it wrong. So should they say in the newsroom? Should they have said that it was only the front gate, or have they got a source from someone at the university that they are going to build a wall around campus? You see what I'm saying? So you can't be mad at us because someone, the source said, but you all as a public didn't know. Oh no, they're gonna build a wall around campus.
Right.
So that you're not the devil. That's what they told us. We have facts that they said that, and now that we have it, we're going to report it.
That's a good one. Thank you for sharing that. And it's so timely as well with everything that's gone on, just with the idea of fake news becoming more and more of a buzz term.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to shift gears into what we like to call our lightning round. So these are either or questions. We're just going to go down a list and you let us know which one is for you. So, coffee or tea?
Tea.
Mac or PC?
Mac. My fingers love them.
Early bird or late owl?
I'm a late owl, but I can be an early bird. But I will stay up to 4 to 3 writing.
Okay. So it's not because you have the baby now. This is in general.
Before the baby, yeah. I would just be up, or I wake up in the middle of the night. This is the weirdest thing.
Spring or fall?
Both, but I'm learning to love fall. Rest in peace, my mom. My mom was an autumn person, and now that I have a baby, I can feel what she was feeling. Fall is beautiful. I got married in the fall, the spring is my birthday, around my birthday, so I gotta say both for me.
Okay.
R.I.P. to mama. Beach or mountains?
The beach. Love the beach.
Black suit or blue suit?
I'm gonna go with blue because everyone else has have black. I need you to be able to remember who I am because I'm trying to win.
Okay. Instagram or Facebook?
I would say Facebook. But I love Instagram. Facebook, so you can connect with a diverse group of people. A lot of people still on Facebook, so you want to be able to have diversity on all of that. because it would go on Instagram too.
Absolutely.
Facebook will go on Instagram. Once you post it, will go on both.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Samantha Jones or Olivia Pope?
Samantha Jones, Olivia Pope.
Washington Post or New York Times?
Post. I love the Times. Times is really, really good, but I had some great colleagues to post. they look out for me on my shows. I got some great experts, so I'm going to go with the Post.
You've been in DC a long time now, so I get it.
Okay.
Extrovert or introvert?
Extra. My husband's
As she bats her eyes.
I'm here, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are. Yes, I talk to everyone. My husband's like, "Oh my God," and everyone tells you all their business. I'm like, "What? We were just talking."
When you,
Yeah, pray for
when you
me.
said you were in St. Louis, you need to be the cute black girl to tell everybody's news, and that means you're an extrovert. Come on now.
Yes. Thank you, Danielle. I do. I want to be the beautiful black woman on the news, right?
Yes. All right. So heels, flats, or tennis shoes? What's your choice?
Tennis shoes now, a funky sneaker. But I love a funky heel. The heel just kind of gives you like power. But if you on a hustle, it's tennis shoes. If I'm trying to get a story, it's tennis shoes. You're not gonna beat me getting that story. And I'm just gonna be able to follow you till I get it.
There go that extrovert again.
I can't do it with my heels. I have to put tennis shoes on.
Yeah, I'm with you. I used to be heels all day, but I love a good tennis shoe now.
Mm-hmm.
Here for that. Okay, so Candice, as we wrap up,
Yes.
what is the best tip or advice that you've been given that you want to share with our audience?
You know, we're in an interesting space when it comes to ageism. We got a lot of people that have been here for years. They're taking over, but a lot of our young women are also right at the neck of our older generation. And we're able to pull off events, we're able to make successful decisions, we're able to be in the room. But when you have to work with someone that's a bit older than you, that's been there for years, let them lead. Do not make them feel like that your ideas don't work. They have to see it for themselves. And you should be able to, as a team member or team partner, hey, I suggest this. I know that used to have been done for 20 years or it's been working for many years. How about this way? And maybe this way will work. And if they disagree with you, that doesn't mean that you the old head, you don't know what you're doing. No, just support them in a way and let them lead. Because when you let them lead, you learn from where they're going, or learn from some of their mistakes, or learn from their success stories. Because this is their show. It's not your show. It's your show when they give it to you, but it's not your show when it wasn't handed to you. Now you may got the opportunity to go neck and neck with them and be able to collaborate. But if it's their world, you have to let them lead and play the political role. Politics is a monster, but it will save your life. You don't want to be able to leave without that. But when you walk away from that project, you don't want them to say she was difficult to work with. I don't want to work with Danielle and Rob. They're difficult to work with. I can. And then when they see you the next time, you got the coin. The event is over. But then they will never remember. They will remember how you treated them. They'll speak to you. They're cordial. But when it comes for another contract, they can't recommend you because you were difficult.
Dropping those gems.
Yes, dropping those gems. Yes.
The best advice I learned and the best advice someone gave me. So I appreciate that.
Well, thank
you so much for joining us. This has been great. I love this conversation. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise. Love to come back.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Have a great
And
one.
thanks for convincing Danielle to do this. We're going to have fun.
Oh, yeah. I look forward to more people to come in. It's going to be amazing guests. So yeah, keep up the good work and giving us great viewership and giving us great interviews and increasing your viewership.
Thank you, Candice.
Thank you.
Bye bye, guys.